The dirtiest beefs in NFL history. Big shout out to Red Zone for the video about to react to. This about to be crazy, bro. I love me some beef, you know what I'm saying?
From players sending each other to the
gosh,
hospital to
damn.
mid-game brawls to legendary rivals. These are the dirtiest beefs in
yo, this
NFL
about to be
history.
a crazy video.
First, a beef that started because players were showing off their wood. See, in 2015, the Panthers hosted the Giants in a game with a chance to go to the playoffs. The Panthers just wanted to keep their perfect record, but the Giants needed to win that game to secure a postseason spot. And both teams had absolute animals on their rosters to make it happen. On the Giants side, Odell Beckham Jr. was coming off the hype of his Rookie Year award and his infamous
That boy
catch.
OBJ was
So
different,
it was
bro.
in the sights of
lie.
every Panthers player, especially All-Pro cornerback Josh Norman, OBJ's personal hater. But right before kickoff, things started to really heat up because the Panthers had a tradition of swinging wooden baseball bats on the field, and Josh Norman picked up a bat, aimed it right at OBJ, and taunted him during warm-ups.
No way!
OBJ was pissed, and it became all he could think about. So OBJ and Norman just went at it on every single play.
Yo, actually, I
In the
remember
third
this,
quarter,
bro.
The
Actually,
trash talk turned into
yo, as a Giants fan, I actually remember this. I hated Josh Norman because of this. Actually, when I was a kid, I remember this beef, bro, because I was a big OBJ fan because I'm a Giants fan. I remember this. That's crazy.
combat.
Thinking about what could have been, and here's what was going on after that run.
Oh, damn, bro.
That's
Hey,
gotta be one of the
yo, don't be slamming my boy OBJ like that, bro. What the freak is wrong with you?
biggest body slams I've ever seen. But OBJ wasn't there for a pillow fight, so he started pressing him hard. And over the next few plays, they were going back and forth for brutal hits.
Well, Josh Norman was on him. They gave a little bit of help, and Odell Beckham came back in and took a shot. This has been going on all game.
The refs were glazing OBJ so hard, they were literally afraid to eject him. But after the game, OBJ got blasted by the media and got a one-game suspension, which honestly ain't even that bad compared to Norman getting a $26,000 fine? For what? Getting jumped by a dude crashing out over a baseball bat?
Nah, it's his fault though, bro. You shouldn't have pulled out the bat, bro. Like, yeah, come on, I stand with OBJ, fam. You bugging out. Wed Ted. And it's not just because I'm a Giants fan. Wed Ted. Maybe it is. Wed Ted. Mind your business. Wed Ted.
And shrugged it off. But this next beef was between two NFL icons. Because in 2017, when the Bucs were playing the Saints, Jameis Winston started chirping at Marshawn.
Oh!
Who got folded like a lawn chair. Evans then got ejected and slapped with a one-game suspension.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie though, bro. I'm not gonna keep pausing, by the way, but yo, I play pro football in real life, right? And I can't really say too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I'll say this, bro. You're supposed to ride for your quarterback no matter what. There's been times in practice, bro, where somebody coming at the quarterback and hey, one of the linemen might just steal off on your ass, bro. He might just hit you, bro. For like, you gotta ride with the QB right or wrong, bro. We done had, yeah, bro. It's been a lot of instances, bro. We just, you know what I'm saying? It's all love for the QB. You know what I'm saying? If somebody on the other team comes at your quarterback, you gotta start throwing hands no matter what, bro. Like, so I get it. I get where Mike Evans was coming from, bro.
And at this point, he knew he messed up.
I just let my emotion get the best of me. Something I shouldn't have did. It was very childish.
That was
Marshawn,
smart. That was smart. You supposed to do that, bro. I mean, all right, never mind. I don't think you had to hit him, but you could have at least jumped in and like stood up for your QB. I don't think you had to hit stick him like that though, because look at his hit stick. Yo, you know this hit stick about to be crazy when you could barely see his silhouette, bro. That joint is literally like fuzzy, bro. And then watch this.
That hit lived rent-free for years, because for 3 years, the beef stayed quiet, even though Lattimore absolutely shit on Evans all year long in 2019. So then in 2020, Tom Brady joined the team. Now the Bucs weren't just a rehab clinic for quarterbacks, they were legit. And since Lattimore was still dominating Evans, Evans wanted to put him in his place. So during their next game, the Bucs snapped the ball, but instead of running his route, Evans went right for Lattimore's throat, and it got ugly fast.
Damn, he choked him.
Squeezing Lattimore harder than Antonio Brown on date night. But the beef only got more tense from there.
Lie.
In 2022, Lattimore got into an argument with Brady and Fournette, the running back.
But
He
this
said,
is
"That's Tom
crazy."
Brady. What do you want me to do? Maybe save the meat riding for the locker room?"
No. That's your quarterback, bro. See, you don't get it, Red Zone. I play football, man. Look, I'm telling you, you gotta ride for your quarterback, fam, all the time, no matter what, bro. Real spill, bro.
Before they could even get to the post game, Evans and Lattimore were both ejected this time. Evans got his usual one-game suspension, while Lattimore paid $13,000 in fines. And
Why do you keep making Lattimore pay the fines and not Mike Evans? Yo, he done lost about 40 bands in his beef. That's kind of crazy.
even though they're on different teams now, Cam Jordan made it clear that the beef ain't dead.
That's real life beef. I've talked to Mike about it. They don't like each other. That is what it is. It's a very apparent situation.
This beef got more action than a real-ass boxing match at this point. But of course, throwing hands is one thing, but starting a beef over not getting a handshake? That's some crazy work. See, in 2011, Larry Fitzgerald invited Michael Crabtree and Richard Sherman to a charity softball game. And since it was off-season, no one expected drama. But according to former player Willie McGinnis, who was also at the game, Crabtree tried to start something over some petty shit.
Richard Sherman wants to choke Michael Crabtree out for the rest of his career. Oh my gosh. What the Yo, by the way, you probably wonder what I'm drinking. So this is lemon tea and water. I got to get my electrolytes, fam. I ain't gonna lie, man. Your boy, you know what I'm saying? I've been working out, getting right. You know what I'm saying? Getting right.
Yet, trying to start a fight at a charity event is crazy work. But Sherman wasn't about to let that go. So when the Seahawks played the 49ers in the 2013 NFC Championship, Sherman was locked in to embarrass Crabtree. And with 22 seconds left, Kaepernick sends a pass to Crabtree, and Sherman makes the play of his life.
Broken up, picked off!
Yes, sir. That was a beautiful freaking play right there. I remember that. When that happened out, yo, I ain't gonna lie, the Seahawks in
Sherman was about to celebrate too.
But
Hey, you don't try the best corner in the league in the front. I'm the best to do this right now. Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, this lady's face, like, no disrespect to her personally as a person, but like, bro, come on, fam. Like, why she looks pissed off. She looks so angry. She looks like she is like, look at this, bro.
The game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
Like, bro, nah, bro, hype him up. Hype him up, bro. He just won one of the biggest games of his life. Like, hype him up. If I was her, I would have been like, that's right, talk your boy. Talk your, you know what I'm saying? Like,
don't you ever talk about me.
Dude flamed Crabtree like they were at a Comedy Central roast. And there's not really much you could say after all that. Crabtree gave it his best shot, but this is the best he could come up with.
Sherman made a good play. I mean, that's probably the only play he made the whole game. I mean, if you cut up the film and look at it, guys are beat. I mean, we're doing our job. I mean, whatever it takes. We just came short at the end.
Yeah, just one play. The game-winning play. That Crabtree wishes he'd just shaken that man's hand. But when it comes to Crabtree, the drama never ends. Because this next one started after Talib literally robbed him. See, Talib and Crabtree both grew up in Dallas, but they didn't have beef in football until a random game in the NFL.
Crab was just like, man, you from my motherfucking city. I better not see you in the city. So I'm like, all right, fam, all right. So when I see you, you know, just have this same energy, fam.
Crabtree thought he was tough as hell until he saw Talib in the city.
He from the South, I'm from the North.
For sure. You from North Dallas, he's from Oak Cliff.
He in the North, I see him, boom. He with a guy who I go to school with, so I know the guy you with, right? He ain't the hardest guy you with, you know what I'm saying? So I see who you with, I'm with wifey. What's up, bruh? And he was like, man, Key, what's up? So I'm like, all right, I'm just checking your energy, fam. We exchange words, whatever. No smoke, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, see, people be talking, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. People be talking, fam.
Boom, so now I'm on Denver, he on the Raiders. We get on the field, you know, Von Miller, he kind of mutual friends between both of us, you know what I'm saying? So we got into it again on the field, he talking, I'm like, but tell him about when I seen him at the mall then. You know what I'm saying? You know, led to another, man, then boom, we finna play the Raiders, I think, next season or whatever. It's kind of like, you know, led up to this point.
With no crowd or cameras there, Crabtree folded under zero pressure. Talib caught him lacking, but that really set the tone, and they both knew that the next time they shared the field, it was on sight. And that's when the chain came into play. But it wasn't even—
This is why he snatched his chain. I remember this. By the way, why Crabtree keep getting in beef? You good, bro?
Talib's idea. It was his coach.
Our coaches on the Broncos, they think it's fashion shows. They running out with chains. If I was playing, I'd snatch that shit. So I'm like, hold on, coach. Got real goons in here.
Talib really took that speech like a mission briefing, because mid-game, after Talib tackled Crabtree, he shoved Talib back for no reason, so Talib followed coach's orders.
Grabbed the goat chain,
pop that chain,
ripped it apart.
Talib was straight cheesing. He pulled off Ocean's 11, while Crabtree wasn't as happy.
Sorry. Snatching chains on the field, like, what you accomplish? You hard? You tough? They make you tough? You snatch the chain in front of the police and take off running. Like, what that?
You started to
childish, man.
But Crabtree acted unbothered, even though Talib was in his head. And he was living so rent-free after that. Before their next game, Crabtree literally taped this chain to his chest. And just 3 minutes into the game, Crabtree came out blocking like he was in the blind side. So the brawl over some Timu-ass jewelry. Both of them got ejected and suspended 2 games. They went their separate ways, but 2 years later, Talib bumped into Crabtree at a go-kart track with their families. And it was looking like they were about to settle it once and for all.
I'm like, bruh, you straight? He said, hell no, I ain't straight. I started laughing at him and said, what's up? Like, I'm right here. He came past, he like, hey, bro, come outside. So I hopped up quick, walked right outside, which was just me and him. And then, you know what I'm saying, we kind of went, what's up, what we on? Will you tell me?
Settling it at a go-kart spot is wild, but Terrell...
I ain't gonna lie, yo, it's so funny, like, it's so funny, bro. Like, I remember growing up and being like, going to school and people would be like, they'll pull their pants up and they'll be like shoulder to shoulder. What's up, bro? Do something, swing, bro. What you gonna do? And nothing ever happens, bro. That should be so funny, bro. But I'm glad they finally settled it, you know what I'm saying? You got family and kids, bro. Y'all rich, bro. What are y'all beefing about a damn Temu chain? Well, it probably was a real chain, I don't know. Do NFL players wear their real jewelry on the field? I doubt it. That would be kind of dumb, I think. I don't know, but then again, they rich, why not, you know?
Owens got the whole country watching his beef with the Eagles. See, it all started in 2004 when the Eagles signed Terrell Owens to a 7-year, $49 million deal. T.O. became Donovan McNabb's top target. They were like a match made in heaven. They basically double-handedly led the Eagles to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I mean, they were on top of the world until they lost the Super Bowl. Well, that was short-lived because the beef started right away with T.O. saying, "At least I wasn't the guy that got tired in the Super Bowl." McNabb clapped back, but multiple teammates confirmed he yacked it in the huddle. So this man was capping hard. Meanwhile, Owens played through a torn ankle and a broken leg and still balled out. So low-key, he's valid. But by 2005, things had cooled off. Until T.O. realized he got stuck with the same $49 million contract again. And somehow, that made him even more pissed. So he tried to get it restructured. But head coach Andy Reid was not backing down.
So he wanted more money.
Stayed angry for a while. By the time training camp came around in August 2005, everything started falling apart. Terrell missed 5 of the 6 practice days from a groin injury. This got Andy Reid fed up, and they started to scream it out in the locker room. Eventually, Reid told him to just go home and keep himself in shape, and T.O. obeyed him. Well, kinda.
I started hearing helicopters or whatever, but I didn't think much of it. Somebody came and knocked at the door, and I looked through the blind. News trucks were all out in my yard. The helicopters and everybody was around my house. I just tried to have fun with it. Saw my ab bench, took it outside. I was, entertaining the reporters, and I was working out at the same time.
He says he was having fun with it. This dude was on some real petty shit.
Yeah, want me to order y'all some pizza?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So his coach told him to go home and get in shape. Do you not see this man? If he needs to get in shape, what do I need to do? Look at him, and then look at me. Bruh.
Let me get the pizza number first. Hold on. Okay. It was a difference of opinion. I think the report is now that I was blowing my fans off. That's not the case.
So this is really about the fans, too. I mean, they want to see you back.
I love the fans. I love the fans. I got no problem with the fans. Heads up. They don't pay me to go in there and talk to everybody and be friendly to everybody. I go in there, they paid me to play, and they paid me to perform. I don't get mad at nobody.
Reporters kept asking him what got him sent home, so he even took shots at Andy Reid.
If he wants to be a man about it and really, have me go on the air and really tell the people what happened, then I can. Like I said, I mean, it was just a difference of opinion. I was defending myself. So.
But eventually, Terrell and Reid met, and Reid said it was a good meeting. So for a second, the beef was cooled down. But T.O. couldn't live without drama. Got pressed when his team didn't celebrate his 100th touchdown catch. This man really expected a surprise party mid-game. And with all this heat bubbling up, things finally exploded after a...
So, like, what receivers gave the reputation of diva? You know what I'm saying? When you think a receiver, you think a diva. Like, what receivers contributed to that? I'm assuming T.O. was one of them. I'm saying, no disrespect. Like, obviously he's a GOAT, but not diva in a negative way, but, just kind of like, flashy and attention-driven. You know what I'm saying? Who else was like that, bro?
Broncos-Eagle game in October. Because Terrell got an ankle injury on the same leg he injured before the Super Bowl. And it would have stopped there if his teammate Hugh Douglas didn't say the dumbest thing ever. I know there are people in here faking injuries.
Oh,
and
damn.
Terrell snapped. He lunged at Douglas, got a few punches, and they got separated.
Oh,
then Terrell turns to McNabb and goes, "Anyone else want some? Who wants some?" Apparently Andy Reid wanted some, because he suspended T.O. indefinitely without pay.
Wow.
T.O. then apologized to everyone except McNabb. So Reid officially terminated him in 2006.
Wow.
20 years later, Reid and McNabb had basically forgotten about it completely. But T.O. is taking this beef to the grave.
And then I had one guy that's like, "Yo, this is gonna be fun." They're like, "If you had to fight her, who would you want to fight?" I said Donovan McNabb.
Damn.
and I'm dead serious. Shanna, I knocked him out.
Like
So you literally try to knock the man out?
Clean out. I knocked chunky soup from him.
Damn.
The way Shannon tries not to laugh at the Navy SEAL bit is just too good. These next two coaches, they were actually throwing hands on the same damn team.
Stop showing the New York Giants having bad plays, bro. Don't do that ever again. Don't do that.
So basically, he was like a cult leader to the defensive unit. They were glazing Buddy like crazy to be the head coach. Instead, the Bears hired Mike Ditka, a hot-headed coach that literally used to play for the Bears.
He was trying to get our attention and say, guys, I played on a team that went and won a Super Bowl. And I was a coach on a team that went and won a Super Bowl. I know what we have to do.
Seems fair to me. Well, Buddy thought the organization screwed him over. And from that point on, they absolutely hated each other.
Mr. Hollis could have lived to be 150, would never hired Buddy Ryan as the head coach.
That head coach stuff stinks, you know.
I think it's insecurity. I think it's jealousy. To be honest with you, I don't care. This conversation has gone far beyond me. Matter of fact, it bored me.
But they managed to agree on one thing. Mike runs offense, Buddy runs defense. They don't interact, they don't cross signs. And they took that far, man. Both sides of the team had separate meetings and lunches and locked doors behind them. And these practices were more like reenactments of 300. Mike literally had his O-line chop block Buddy's defense. And while this would normally kill a team's unity, it actually made them better. And soon enough, this laughingstock of a team was in the NFC Championship of 1984. I mean,
pressure
they
made diamonds.
but it's the thought that counts. But the next year, they went 15-1. And they earned a place in history with that record. That 85 Bears team is still considered one of the best of all time. And the only game they lost was to the Dolphins, of all teams. And that loss hurt the coaches even more than the team. Because by that point, Mike and Buddy hated each other so much, they got into a fight at halftime. But based on Mike's take, it wouldn't have been much of a fight.
We know who would win that one. Hands down.
Damn,
the savage. Thankfully, they chilled out, won a few more games, went to the Super Bowl, and won that too. The next year, Buddy left to coach the Eagles. And when a reporter asked Mike if he was happy about that, Mike went, "I'm not happy, I'm elated." And Buddy felt the same.
What did Mike say to you when you left?
Mike who?
Buddy couldn't care less.
Empty tin cans make the most noise, and he's an empty tin can.
And over the next 3 years, Mike showed why losing a defensive coach ain't the same as losing the offensive coach. Because he used Buddy's own team against him and absolutely cooked the Eagles every single game. Buddy at least gave the defense some props, but never said a word about Mike. But if you think that's petty, get this. But after Mike left the NFL, he opened his own restaurant.
Mike Ditka's restaurant. And guess what?
Years later, the anniversary of their Super Bowl win, they squashed it. No one really knows what was said, but they were seen laughing at the reunion and posing for pictures together. And even though these two dudes said some wild things over the years, nothing compares to what James Harrison said about the NFL commissioner in this next one. See, James Harrison was a monster on the field before he started beef off the field. Because in 2010, the NFL started to crack down on big hits. And in one season alone, he was fined $100,000 for hits they deemed too violent.
Oh my gosh, bro. Damn, bro, that was a WWE. Look at this. Yo, that's a WWE finisher. Boom. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my god. Oh,
that last one got him $75 grand alone.
Damn.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell sent out a memo that week about fines for hard hits, after he had already fined Harrison. That seemed a little targeted, but $100 grand was enough for Goodell. So that same week, he was caught selling photos of Harrison's $75K hit.
Wow.
That pushed Harrison over the edge. So he took an interview with Men's Journal and used it to absolutely torch Goodell. He called him a crook and a puppet who said Harrison was the dirtiest player in the league. Then he said, and followed it up with, but Harrison still wasn't sharing the league. Then he said,
all right, let me read it because
and followed it up.
All right, until last year, I'm gonna do it in James Harrison voice. Till last year, there was no word of me being dirty. Until Roger Goodell, who's a crook and a puppet, said I was the dirtiest player in the league. But I tried to explain to Goodell, but he was too stupid to understand that dudes crouch when you go to hit him. But Goodell, who's the devil, ain't hearing that. And Roger said, that man was on fire, and I had to piss to put him out. I wouldn't do it. I hate him, and I will never respect. Is that real? There's no way this is real. That's crazy.
But Harrison still wasn't sure people got the message, so he made it unbelievably.
And James Harrison said, oh, James Harrison said that. Oh, okay, I'm about to say, I don't think Roger would say that. Yeah, so James said that. Damn, about Roger? Damn, bro. Wow, bro.
Clear. And Goodell couldn't even clap back. The interview dropped in the offseason, so the NFL didn't have any press events for Goodell to speak at. Luckily, by the time the 2011 season came up, Harrison had chilled out and thought Goodell had forgotten about everything. Truth was, he had not. And when Harrison did this to Colt McCoy,
and now he throws at the last second and completed it as he got planted. And I mean planted.
Goodell slapped Harrison with the first ever one-game suspension for a helmet-to-helmet hit, including Harrison of PED use. The source immediately backtracked, and Harrison denied everything. But
like
Goodell pushed an investigation anyway, with no evidence whatsoever. He hit Harrison with constant drug tests, leading to Harrison saying, even though Harrison tested negative, Goodell demanded a PED interview with Harrison, to which he said he'd do. Harrison knew he had Goodell looking like a clown, so eventually Goodell backed off, admitting they found no credible evidence. To be fair, Harrison looks like he drinks Tren for breakfast. But Goodell really spent an entire year trying to get revenge on Harrison, calling him stupid 5 years earlier. Grown-ass men acting petty as hell. And if you think it can't get any messier, you better get ready for what happened with Jalen Ramsey and Golden Tate's sister. Because Ramsey was in a 3+ year relationship with Brianna, and they had 2 kids together, the third on the way. But then in 2019, Ramsey pulled a true gentleman move. He left her while pregnant for a Vegas dancer. And after a few months, Tate finally publicly drops a line.
So Tate said this. All right, so yeah, Red Zone, you're kind of messing up with the... So Andrew Tate said this, not Jalen. Andrew Tate said, I'm not happy at all with the disrespect that he's shown towards my sister and the things he's done in the past. Oh my gosh.
Ramsey and Tate immediately knew what was up.
Nah, we knew what we was gonna do. Oh, okay.
Both of y'all.
Yeah, we knew what was up.
That week, that day,
on site. I mean, we know.
And when the Rams and Giants played in 2020, Ramsey kicked things off with some John Wick level intensity.
Oh, damn. Oh, my God. He said, not only do I... Never mind. I was about to say something wild, but I ain't even gonna do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Eli. This was like 4 years ago or something. I probably just said it, dog. But you know what I'm saying? Hey. Oh, never mind, bro.
The real fight was just beginning. Because after the Rams won, Tate and Ramsey met in midfield to settle things.
Yo.
These dudes went at it like animals. And since Jalen threw the first punch, he got fined $15,000.
Damn.
Tate got nothing, and they both quickly moved on with their lives. At least it only took one fight to get it out of their system. Vontaze Burfict was in a career-long war. He had beef with the whole team. And when Cincinnati drafted him in 2012, they had no idea they drafted a chaos engine. Listen, deep down, everyone loves to see someone get absolutely rocked on the field. It brings you back to the good old days when no one cared about the players. But Vontaze wasn't just hitting hard, he was hitting to kill. And in 2013, he quickly became known as the dirtiest player in the NFL. Because Pro was catching fines like A.J. Brown catches touchdowns. First for $31,000.
Rodgers fires.
Damn, bro.
Then for $21,000.
21.
Oh my God, brother.
$25,000 and $69,000. Dude made James Harrison look like a saint, but some of his hits were targeted because he hated the Steelers, saying, and man, did they hate him. Because starting with that last hit on Ben Roethlisberger, he knocked out the Steelers' 3 biggest stars in a single year. He destroyed Le'Veon Bell's knees.
Oh my God. Ah, fuck.
But he brought the real heat to the 2016 AFC wildcard game. Cincinnati had a 16-15 lead with 1:30 left, and Burfict had been trying to make dirty plays all game. But when the clock got down to 22 seconds, Antonio Brown went for a pass, and Burfict made his move.
But middle of the field, they can push the ball. A flag does come in.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
On the hit on Antonio Brown.
He literally knocked Antonio Brown into next week because Brown was out cold. And while Brown was being carted off, Burfict looks straight at Juju Smith-Schuster and goes, "You're next." After the game, Vontaze was suspended for 3 games and had to forfeit $500,000 of his salary. But the stage was set. The next time Vontaze had the chance, he was targeting Juju. And in 2017, they finally met again.
It's a peeled back block, and
that's what I like to see. I ain't gonna
lie.
lie.
And that's going to be.
Yeah, he deserved
Vontaze like he was a Mortal Kombat fatality. And he got the stand over Vontaze, just flexing and taunting him for revenge. His behavior drew him a flag and a 1-game suspension. But at least Vontaze was finally forced out of the game. Antonio Brown even took some time in the locker room just to hype up Juju.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
I like that. Karma. Karma.
And after all of that, you'd think Vontaze would learn his lesson. Nah, he got right back to being dirty and racked up another $200,000 in fines over the next 4 years.
Bro,
but by 2019, the NFL had enough, especially after that hit on Jack Doyle. The NFL suspended him for the rest of the season without pay, and now no one wants to touch him. He technically hasn't retired, but he's been a free agent for over 6 years, so he's pretty much cooked. And even though he single-handedly gave fans one of the greatest modern NFL beefs, it came at the cost of missing 22 games, $411,000 in fines, and losing over $5 million of his career earnings. All because he randomly decided to hate the Steelers. As he so eloquently puts it,
Damn, bro. Yeah, cause the thing is, you don't want to just hurt people for no reason, fam. At the end of the day, these people got families and careers, bro, just like you know what I'm saying? But it is football, bro. Hey, it's a dangerous league, fam. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, you know what I mean? But hey, man, big shout out to Red Zone for that video, bro. Real talk, man. At the end of these videos, actually got a stack of cards right here, bro. They're biblical cards. I'm gonna read off a card at the end of each video every time. It's gonna have a Bible verse, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start doing that. You guys know I'm deep in my faith, bro. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. That's from Hebrews 10:23. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he promised. Nice one right there. Yes, sir. So, hey, bro, what y'all could do with these verses is look them up on your own, you know what I'm saying? Dig into it. And if it hits you, bro, go in the comments and say, I like that one. Real talk, man. Make sure you always put God first. Remember that you are chosen, so move like it. I'll see you on the next one. It's your boy, Eli Mack. Peace. Gang, gang. I saw somebody in the comments said he brought the gang back. It's back again, mother sucker.